What a disgrace. What an absolute disgrace yesterday in Washington, D.C. And I am not talking about the game on the field where the Commanders looked more like the Lieutenants as they were getting their ass kicked. I'm talking about the disgraceful behavior from the crowd, the complete lack of respect that was shown to our military. Look, I don't have a problem with the crowd booing the Trumper. When you're in a leadership position, when you're in the public sphere, you're always going to have detractors. A lot of people were pissed off with Uncle KC yesterday because I criticized conservative media for constantly fighting over Israel. Why are you defending Israel? We are America first. Yeah, that was my point. I guess it's my fault. I guess I wasn't clear enough yesterday with the point I was trying to make. I was questioning why conservative media is fighting over Israel when we should be united in fighting the communists, or as they are now calling themselves, democratic socialists. We should be united in fighting the communists here in America. But that's fine. That's fine. I have no problem with the criticism. You can't please everyone. Roger Goodell, he gets booed every year at the NFL draft. The diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she was booed at the WNBA Finals this year when she was presenting the Platinum Pooper to the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. Taylor Swiffer gets booed. If Gail Benson ever made a public appearance in New Orleans, she would get booed. I have no problem with people showing their frustration by booing public figures. What I do have a problem with is the disrespect that was shown yesterday towards our military. This is one of the many reasons that the disease of politics should be immediately removed from sports and entertainment. We used to live in a country where we had the ability to put politics to the side. We used to live in a country where politics was a nuisance that we had to deal with every 2 or 4 years. Today, the disease of politics has consumed American culture. You can't escape it. A couple of weeks ago, Doc Rivers, he's giving a press conference, and he unleashes an emotional tirade about the children. The orange man is starving the children. Oh, the children. It's all about the children. Last I checked, every player on the roster in Milwaukee was a grown man. Not only are they making millions of dollars, I'm pretty sure the team provides catering before games, which means none of Doc Rivers' children are starving. But he wants to use an NBA press conference to talk about a political issue. The disease of politics has infected every aspect of American culture. And look at the end result. Look at what happened yesterday afternoon in Washington, D.C. During halftime of the game between the Lions and the Lieutenants, Donald Trump was swearing in new recruits to the military. 10 years ago, this would have been a moment where politics were set aside and we come together to show our appreciation to these young men, young women who are willing to sacrifice their lives for this country. Unfortunately, what the crowd in Washington, D.C. showed these young men and women yesterday afternoon was that they are sacrificing their lives for a country that is fully divided. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. So I want to get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at It's Grill 30. One of my favorite things to do to relax is grill. Some dudes find cutting grass to be relaxing. I find the entire process of grilling to be relaxing. If you've ever grilled, You know, one of the most critical aspects is seasoning the meat. And some of the best seasoning I found on the market is from It's Grill 30. Seasoning from It's Grill 30 is processed in small batches to ensure the highest quality. There are no fillers, and every container is custom made and processed right here in America. My favorite seasoning from It's Grill 30, Make America Grill Again. Other night, I used Make America Grill Again on some steaks. It was the only seasoning that I used. Wife said it was the best steaks I've ever made. It's Grill 30 is owned by a Marine Corps veteran. Today is a very special day for current and former Marines. Today is their birthday. They are celebrating 250 years of serving and protecting this country. With Christmas coming up, this would make the perfect stocking stuffer for the men in your family. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL15. Receive 15% off your first purchase with It's Grill 30. Yesterday afternoon, Donald Trump attended the public beating of the Washington Commanders. It's been a tough season in Washington. Terry McLaurin's been injured. Jaden Daniels is hurt. And even before he was hurt, he was experiencing somewhat of a sophomore slump. The Commanders are 0-5 in their last 5 games, 3-7 on the season. Hell, the season's over. But that didn't stop the Trumper from attending the game and being the first president in 50 years to attend a regular season game in the NFL. At one point, it was either in the second or maybe it was the third quarter, Donald Trump joined the broadcast team on Fox. It was incredibly awkward, mainly because Jonathan Vilma kept making some doofus joke that clearly wasn't landing. Hey, Don, 6'7". 6'7"? What the hell does that mean? Apparently, 6'7" is some inside joke that's popular with the kids. It came from a song called Doot Doot, which I'm sure is an instant classic. I'm sure the song is really popular with the Yentas on The View. I'm sure it's Whoopi Goldberg's entrance music, since the whoopee cushion is constantly playing her boodle flute while preparing for a good doot doot. During halftime, the Trumper was swearing in new members of the military. Don was in the press box, I'm assuming for security reasons, since, some asshole tried to take his life twice last summer. But the kids being sworn into the military, they were down on the field. I'm pointing that out because it was clear to the crowd what was going on. The woke media, they will try to defend the crowd by saying they weren't booing the military, they were booing Orange Man. While that might be the case, this was not the time and place to show your frustration with Donald Trump. This was the time and place to show your appreciation. This was the time and place to honor these young men, young women who are willing to sacrifice their lives to give you the freedom to boo the president. Unfortunately, crowd in Washington, they could not contain their disrespect. Watch for yourself. There seems to be a real problem in this country, and this problem mainly applies to one side. Ironically enough, it's the side that creates problems while not creating solutions, the Democrats. There seems to be a real problem with authority. There seems to be a complete lack of respect for law enforcement, whether it's cops, Border Patrol, ICE, the National Guard. I was talking about this last week with one of my viewers. We don't agree on anything politically, but we do have a mutual respect for each other. He hates the Trumper, doesn't agree with ICE deporting illegals that aren't necessarily criminals, doesn't agree with Don deploying the National Guard to woke cities that are resembling third world countries. Part of me understands where he's coming from. Do I think Sanchez, who has been here for 10 years, never had a ticket, never been charged with a crime, he's working to support his family, he's assimilated to American culture, do I think Sanchez and his family should be deported? No. Like I told you guys before, I would rather the Trumper focus on the Islamists who are trying to take over the country. But at the same time, I do understand what he is trying to do. I understand the message he's trying to send. For too long, and this was damn sure the case under the lack of leadership of our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden, for far too long, lawlessness has been accepted. In the past, there were protests. Maybe we had a major riot every 3 to 5 years. From 1990 to 2009, there were 27 incidents that were classified as riots. Some had nothing to do with politics. Woodstock 99 was classified as a riot, and they were pissed off over the lack of water, along with the fact that the only water that was available was contaminated with the doodle. From 1990 to 2009, we had 27 incidents that were classified as riots. In the last 15 years, there have been 48. Well, Casey, that's because the Trumper is so divisive. He has destroyed America. I am. 26 of those 48 riots happened when Barack Obama was in office. In the span of 8 years, we had almost as many riots as we had in the previous 20 years. Lawlessness has become the norm, and the only way to combat it is to enforce the law. Damn near every night in Portland, ICE agents are fighting Antifa. For years in Chicago, maybe even decades, young black men are being murdered by the dozens in a single weekend. There is a complete lack of respect for law enforcement. There is a lack of respect for authority. And the only way to combat it is to get the criminals off the streets. You damn sure can't solve the problem with social worker Shanice, which is exactly what Zorro Mamdani is going to try to do in New York City. Will be interesting to see how that works out. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.